In this video, I'm going to give you a list of 10 popular movies that I've never watched. Hey, it's me AP, and welcome back to another video. So, 10 popular movies I've never watched. I got tagged in this craze on YouTube at the moment by James from Movie Mad, so big thumbs up to James from Movie Mad. Check out his channel. I will link it in below if you've not already checked it out. Awesome channel, all about movies, all about collecting movies as well. Great channel. And thank you for tagging me, James. So I've seen tons of these online from fellow fans of movies in the YouTube community, and it's people giving the 10 popular movies or 10 classic movies that they have never ever watched. And now it is my turn. I've been tagged, I've been given the challenge to give you 10 popular movies, a list of 10 popular movies. So I went through IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes, or as the Yanks say, Rotten Tomatoes. I don't know, I did it in like a Cockney accent then. It's like, hey dude, you are listening to, have you been on the website Rotten Tomatoes? That's the way, that was an awful accent. If you've not turned the video off by now, I applaud you. Please give me another chance. Let's move forward without any really bad impressions. But yeah, I've been going through the list online and just trying to suss out a list of movies I've never watched. And I've got 10 movies here, 10 popular movies or classic movies, however you want to call them. And I'm going to go into the list and go through the list and give you a few reasons as to why I've not watched these movies. So let's deep dive in to the 10 popular movies that I've never watched. So I'm going to start this list off with Parasite. Parasite is a more recent movie, and it's just one that I have no idea what it's about. From what I gather, is it kind of like a horror sort of, like there's a bit of horror in it? I don't know. I'll be totally honest, the reason why I've never watched Parasite is because I'm lazy. It is due to the fact that I am a lazy watcher of movies. It's got subtitles on. This is a movie, I think this won the Oscar, didn't it? It won like Best Picture a few years back. Maybe was it like 2018, 2019? It wasn't too long ago. But I know it's all subtitles, and I'm sure I probably could get an audio dub, like an English dub of it now. But I don't know. It's just something I've not got around to watching. And when I hear subtitles, I'm one of those people. I struggle to concentrate when watching a movie and having subtitles at the same time. I struggle to follow the story. Maybe I'm just a really bad reader. But yeah, I just really do struggle with it. And anything that has subtitles, it's just movies like that I tend to not watch and never get around to watching, even though I know there's a lot of big buzz around Parasite. So maybe it's a case where I've got to watch an English dub of this movie. Let me know though. I'll be honest with you though, as I said, I don't know anything about this. I don't really know the plot. I have no idea about anything about this movie. So Parasite is my first choice. Next up is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the Quentin Tarantino movie. I'm a big fan of Tarantino. I know this movie, it's got Brad Pitt, it's got Leonardo DiCaprio in it as well. And yeah, I like Tarantino's movies. To be honest, I've only just watched recently, in the past week or so, the Kill Bill movies for the first time, and they were okay. I really they were decent movies. I thought the second one was better than the first one. But they were ones that I just never got around to watching, even though I do like Tarantino's movies. I mean, Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs. Pulp Fiction is just a superb film. And he's a great director, but Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is one, I wanted to watch it. It's not that I didn't want to watch it. It's just one that is just kind of like, you get so many movies that come out and then you get certain ones just escape you and you just never get around to watching them. It is one that's in my list of reserve list of movies to watch at some point, but yeah, it's one I've just still not got around to watching, and I don't really know. I think is it Leonardo DiCaprio's character is kind of like an actor who's not getting any work anymore, and he was like a big star, and he's like becomes like this B-rated star or something. I know Brad Pitt is his stunt double. That's all I know, and I don't really know much more about that story. But it is one I will eventually get around to checking out. It's when will I do it? I will do it, but it just when's the big question mark there as well. Next on my list is Schindler's List, and Schindler's List. I know this is like a classic movie. Everyone says it's like a very much a movie that'll probably have you in tears. Schindler's List. All I know about it is it's about a list, and it was set in World War II, and I think Liam Neeson's in it. I'm pretty sure Liam Neeson's in it, and the guy who what's his name, Voldemort. I don't know the actor's name. That's all I know about it. Maybe my details are completely incorrect. That's what I'm just taking from memory. But yeah, I don't really know. Again, I believe, is it in black and white, this movie as well? That's, again, very vague details. It's good, when you look at films that you've never seen before and they're so popular, but have a little idea of what you think the plot is. Schindler's List, what is the plot? I'm pretty sure it's something to do with, is it to do with the prison of war camps or something like that? Maybe and there's like a list of so many people that can get out alive. I honestly don't know the plot. I don't know anything about the plot. I am ignorant to that because you could call me ignorant. I'm just not educated. I don't know the plot of Schindler's List. I don't know anything about it. It's one of those movies though that has not really intrigued me to watch. Whereas Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, that seems like an attractive proposition as a moviegoer for me because I like Tarantino's movies. But Schindler's List, I've never seen anything or heard anything that makes me go, wow, I gotta see this movie. Maybe let me know in the comments. Let me know, is it worth watching? Is it one where you've got to really give this movie a watch? It'd be good to know your thoughts in the community. So the next movie I want to discuss is Psycho. Now, this is, it's a classic Alfred Hitchcock movie, and I've never watched it. I know the shower scene. I know the basic premise of Psycho, and I kind of know like the twist at the end and stuff like that. But yeah, I've never seen Psycho. I've seen like bits and pieces of it on TV, and as I said, clips over the years and stuff. And you know the music, like the dun dun, that something like that, isn't it? It's something like the music, the strings. I remember back in college doing music, I think we did something with the music of Psycho and just like studying at the music of Psycho at the time. But it's one movie that I've never watched, Psycho, and I know it is a classic movie. Everyone says it's a classic to watch. But yeah, it's just something, again, kind of like Schindler's List, doesn't really appeal to me. I know it's like a classic, but it's not like a genre of movies that particularly makes me intrigued to watch it. I think for me, I'm always a guy who, relates to action and adventure movies and sci-fi. I don't, maybe relates the wrong word. Maybe it's just I enjoy more the movies that I really, zoom to. And movies like Psycho just don't do it for me. And maybe I honestly don't think I'd ever watch Psycho unless it was on TV and it was nothing else on. I don't think I'd go out my way to watch Psycho just because I don't feel I want to watch it. And that's another one on the list. The next movie I'm going to discuss is E.T., the Extraterrestrial, and this is a Steven Spielberg movie that I've not watched. There is still a few of his movies. I'm a big fan of his. I'm a big fan of Spielberg, but I've never watched E.T. It's never one I watched as a kid growing up, so I never watched it as a kid. And from what I gathered of the plot, it's this alien drops to the Earth, and these kids, and it's like these kids take this alien on board and make it a part of the gang or something like that, is it? And then in the end he goes home, because I've heard all like the E.T. go home, and I've seen the bit with the bicycle where he's got like a towel over him and he flies, and do the kids all fly? It's like that sort of thing. But yeah, E.T., never watched it. Why have I not watched it? I'll be honest with you, I've looked at that E.T., the actual, you see the pictures of the alien, and it just looks really bad. It looks like a toy. It looks like a toy alien. I know it's the 80s and it's a kids. It's meant to be a family-friendly movie. But maybe some people say that about Star Wars, which I love, like Yoda. They say it just looks like a puppet. And that's the way I look at E.T. To me, it just looks like a really cheap toy. I suppose it's one of those where if you've been brought up with that movie, you have a different experience of watching it and the way you think of that movie. Same with me with Star Wars. I grew up with them movies. I enjoy them movies. I've got a lot of love for those movies, but for me, there's nothing there with E.T. And I've just never got around to watching that one. Next up is A Clockwork Orange, and this is a movie that I think I attempted to watch many years ago now, like probably over 10 years ago, and it just didn't appeal to me at the time. But I suppose my taste in movies has changed a lot in them years, and I feel like it is a movie that I will get round to watching at some point. I don't really know a massive amount about this plot. I think what I gather, it's like this gang and they just like go crazy and start beating up people, and they're just like absolute psychopaths. That's what I get from this film. But yeah, I don't know the whole plot to it. So again, I'd be going in completely unaware of what the full plot is, and I don't know if there are any twists and turns with the story. I don't know anything about that. I suppose that's fun though. This is a movie probably over 30 years old now, probably maybe 40 years, and I don't know anything really about the plot, and I don't know any twists, and I think that's cool that you can say that about movies, and going in to watching a movie and not knowing anything about it, it is still interesting, and it's great to see, and it's great to watch a fresh movie as a movie fan. So A Clockwork Orange is another popular movie I've never watched. Next on my list is Pan's Labyrinth, and this is kind of, for me, very similar to Parasite. The reason why I've never watched Pan's Labyrinth is for so many years, it's subtitles, and again, you probably can get an English dub, I'm sure of it, but I know this is a movie that's in Spanish, and things have shifted for me this year or so. Over the past year, over like the lockdowns and stuff, I've been learning Spanish. Only on my own, not been doing proper lessons or anything, but it's just been a little bit of a sideline hobby that I've been doing. And now I've got this, intention to watch Pan's Labyrinth because it's in Spanish. I know basic Spanish. I'm not like super advanced, but I feel like I could watch it and, gradually pick up things about the story as well as having the English subtitles on as well. I remember though the experience of watching a Pan's Labyrinth years ago and not knowing anything about the movie. And I think I initially, when I put it on years ago, someone mentioned it. I thought, because this was big, everyone was going on about Pan's Labyrinth at the time when it was released. And I put it on, I thought it was a sequel to David Bowie's Labyrinth. And I was wrong on that one. It wasn't a labyrinth with David Bowie, and it wasn't a sequel to that movie at all. But I don't know much about it. It just looked very dark and gritty from what I seen of it at like the first 5 or so minutes. And then when I realised it's a Spanish movie, I must have turned it off. Again, laziness on my behalf. It's nothing to do with the language. It's just the fact I am so lazy, I can't concentrate on subtitles and watch a movie at the same time. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there, though, a similar feeling to me, where they just really struggle with that aspect of subtitles in movies. I don't think it's super bad. I think it's just people just struggle with concentration. I really do struggle with concentration a lot of the time. But I will say I am going to watch it now that I've got a basic understanding of Spanish, and I'm looking forward to having that experience of watching the movie in its native tongue of Spanish. The next movie I want to discuss is A Quiet Place. I've never seen The Quiet Place or The Quiet Place Part 2. I'm a big fan of Jim from The Office, who's in this movie, and I'm a big fan of Emily Blunt. I believe she's in this as well. I think John Krasinski, Jim from The Office, he directed this as well, and he wrote the movie as well, which is really cool, as well as starring in it. So that is one I'm going to get around to watching. It looks like a soft horror for me, and I'm not like a big horror guy, but it looks like something I could handle. So Quiet Place is one I am going to watch very, very soon. So the next movie on my list of movies I've never seen is The Princess Bride. Now, I actually discussed this with a friend a few days ago, actually, Princess Bride, and he mentioned that I think it's in one of the Deadpool movies. I think it might have been one of like I don't know, is it the second one or the first? I think it's the second one. And I don't know if it was the cut where they do like the family cut where they have one of the characters from The Princess Bride in this, and there's a reference to that movie, and I've seen that movie Deadpool 2, and I don't know which cut I've seen. I think I've seen the rated R cut, but I can't recall this reference to this movie. But again, I don't know anything about The Princess Bride. But it is a movie I've heard of over the years, but apparently there's like a reference to to it in Deadpool 2. I'm going to have to look out for. But The Princess Bride, it's one I don't know anything about. To be honest, I thought it was like, doesn't Anna Hathaway do a movie about where she's a princess? I thought that's what the movie was. I thought it was some sort of like 90s, early 2000s movie until more recently find out a bit more about this movie. But it's a comedy movie I think it's from the 80s. Never seen it. I don't know much about it. I know Andre the Giant is in this movie, the wrestler Andre the Giant. That's all I know. I think, is it Fred Savage, who's like a child actor in America? I think he's in it as well. But again, I don't know much about him as an actor. I don't know much about this movie. It looks like it's a comedy. It's like I don't know if it's sort of like a vibe to like a Monty Python maybe. But yeah, I think I'm going to watch it because I know enough people mention The Princess Bride and say it's a decent comedy movie. Maybe it's a case where I go back and watch this and I get like an experience like when I watched Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I watched that and I didn't click with me. I didn't have that experience what a lot of other people have with that movie. Similar like to A Breakfast Club. I wasn't brought up watching them movies, so watching it at a later point in my life, I just didn't I didn't enjoy it. I didn't click with them movies. Maybe it'll be a similar feeling, or maybe I'll really enjoy it, but The Princess Bride is on my list. So the final movie on my list of popular movies I've never watched is 2001: A Space Odyssey. And this is a movie that, I've heard of over the years, and even I know it's like a science fiction movie, and I, as a sci-fi fan, a fan of science fiction movies, feel ashamed that I've never watched this movie because it seems like it's a movie that a lot of people have watched. But I only watched Jaws for the first time like a year or two ago. I do think even I do a channel on YouTube discussing movies, and there's so many classic movies I've yet to see. But for me, I don't think that's a bad thing. I see it as I've got loads of these cool movies to watch that I've never seen before. I get to have these first time experiences with these really big movies, these classic movies that everyone else is raving about, and I'm going to have that first time experience. So I'm looking forward to giving this a movie a watch as a sci-fi fan. I'm going to hopefully watch it this year at some point, before the end of this year. If not, I will watch it ASAP. But yeah, 2001. Again, I don't really know much about this story. I don't know. Look, go into it. I know it's a space movie. That's all I know. And it's got that the Ric Flair music, that dun 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 dun. The Nature Boy Ric Flair. Woo! His music. But I don't know anything about it. Does it feature aliens? Is it like this spaceman going into space and discovering a new planet, a new race, a new civilization? I honestly don't know anything about it. Is it a time travel movie? Does it go in space? Is it time travel? Who knows? So that'll be super cool to watch for the first time, and to see what how special people regard this as a very special movie and a very important movie. So I'm looking forward to having that first time experience and watching 2001: A Space Odyssey. So before I end this video today, I would like to tag a few people in for this challenge of popular movies you've never watched, or classic movies you've never watched, the same way that James tagged me in for this video. Just saying as well, you don't have to do it. I mean, it's a challenge. If you want to do it, go for it. And I'm sure a lot of you have already been tagged before for this challenge as well, but I just want to throw it out there. So I'm going to tag the collaborators, the host, with myself of the Saturday Movie Show 50th episode we did a few weeks back. So I've got my list here. So the list is Philip Coghill, Brett from Walk On Always Believe, Sean from Media Collector Madness, Ben, Rider Rated 18, we've got John, Mondocello Vet Movies, and Nick from Nick's Movie Talk. I want to tag all those guys for doing this challenge. If you're up for the challenge, I want to hear them lists of 10 classic movies, 10 popular movies that you've never watched. If you enjoyed this video today, please do give it a like and check out the rest of my movie-related content as well. And let me know your thoughts on my list of popular movies I've never watched. Which ones would you watch first out of this list? Which ones do you think are the most worthy movies of watching first? And what movies are in your personal list of popular movies that you've never got round to watching in your lifetime as a movie fan? Let me know all your thoughts on this topic. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.